In the middle of the Arizona desert, America hides an air force bigger than most countries. 4,000 warplanes retired, dismantled, or waiting to be resurrected sleep under the sun, protected by fences, armed patrols, and a climate so perfect it can preserve a jet for half a century. Most people think this is a graveyard. It isn't. It's the backup plan for World War III. The place is known as the 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group, AMARG. To outsiders, it looks like a graveyard of forgotten metal. To the Pentagon, it is something far more valuable than a fleet of active jets. It is time frozen. Capability bottled. Power preserved for a day the world hopes never comes. But to understand why 4,000 warplanes have been intentionally abandoned in a desert, you need to understand the one weakness of modern air power that almost no one ever talks about. It's not the enemy, it's not the missiles, it's not even the cost. It's time. A fully assembled fighter jet is not a weapon. It's a promise that a nation can defend itself not today, but tomorrow, next month, or 10 years from now. And that future, America learned, is fragile. During the Cold War, the Pentagon realized something terrifying. If World War III began, the United States would need thousands of aircraft almost instantly, not years later. Factories could be bombed, supply chains could collapse, workers could be drafted or killed. And the skies, America's biggest advantage, would be the first battlefield to burn. So the military made a decision that seemed insane at the time. Don't destroy retired aircraft. Preserve them, all of them. Because a jet that is too old to fly today might be priceless when the world ends tomorrow. This is how Monthan Air Force Base became the largest aircraft storage facility on Earth. But this story isn't about a desert full of dead planes. It's about a system, a strategy, and a silent force that can resurrect American air power faster than any enemy can destroy it. And to understand the magnitude of this place, stand here on ground so dry you can taste the dust in the air. The Sonoran Desert isn't just hot, it's perfectly hot. Humidity stays below 30%. The soil is alkaline, which slows corrosion. The temperatures swing, but never freeze. All of this creates a natural vault, a climate that turns aluminum, rubber, wiring, hydraulics, even avionics, into artifacts preserved with almost religious precision. An F-16 stored in Florida would rot in months. In Arizona, it can sit for decades and wake up like it only slept through a weekend. This wasn't luck. It was engineering disguised as geography. But the climate alone isn't the secret. The real secret is control. When a jet arrives at AMARG, it doesn't just get parked. It goes through a ritual, a precise, methodical process designed to stop time. Fuel is drained. Lubricants replaced, hydraulic systems flushed. Every opening, every vent, every cockpit seam, every inlet and exhaust is sealed with a white protective coating called spraylat. It's like wrapping a ghost. The plane becomes an object of preservation rather than destruction. Inside the cockpit, the instruments are sealed from light. Inside the engines, desiccant packets absorb moisture. The landing gear is elevated to prevent flat spots. Even the control surfaces are locked in perfect neutral, so the desert winds can't wear them down. This isn't storage. This is suspended animation. If you're enjoying this, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. It helps a lot. Let's move deeper, past the rows of A-10 Warthogs, their iconic GAU-8 cannons pointed at nothing but silence. Past B-52 Stratofortresses so large they cast shadows the size of buildings. Past the F-14 Tomcats, their wings swept and frozen in an era that ended decades ago. Each row tells a story. Combat missions, Cold War deterrence, wars fought, wars avoided, wars imagined. But all these stories lead to one truth. These planes are not dead, they are waiting. Because AMARG doesn't just store aircraft, it resurrects them. When a global crisis erupts like the Gulf War, the military doesn't wait for factories to produce new jets. It calls AMARG, and within months, aircraft that haven't flown in 10, 20, or even 30 years return to service. This is the regeneration mission, AMARG's most misunderstood power. Before a stored jet ever touches the runway again, inspectors study every millimeter of its airframe. Corrosion is scraped away, wiring is tested, hydraulics restored, engines removed, torn down, rebuilt, and tested. Avionics replaced with modern systems, data links, GPS, secure communications, radar, mission computers. Inside the hangar, the transformation is shocking. A jet that looks like a relic becomes a weapon again. Then comes the moment of truth. A test pilot climbs into a cockpit that hasn't opened in years. The engines roar back to life, and the aircraft takes to the sky, reborn. Some people call this place a graveyard, but graveyards don't bring the dead back. A AMARG does, but regeneration is only half of the story. The other half is the mission that keeps America's fleet alive even when factories stop producing parts. It's called parts reclamation, a clinical term for something closer to surgery. Imagine an F-16 squadron deployed overseas. One jet is grounded because a single actuator has failed a part that hasn't been manufactured in 20 years. Without that actuator, the aircraft is useless. But somewhere in the desert, an F-16 sleeps. Its airframe is gone. Its flight hours expired. But its actuator is perfect. A team at AMARG removes the part, documents its history, tests it, certifies it, and ships it directly to the unit that needs it. The grounded jet flies again. The mission continues. And America keeps its air power edge, not by building more, but by preserving better. The value of this system is almost impossible to calculate. Every reclaimed part saves time, saves money, and in some cases, saves lives. Billions have been saved by pulling components from retired aircraft rather than manufacturing new ones. Some parts don't even have manufacturers anymore. Without AMARG, entire aircraft fleets would be forced into retirement. This is why AMARG exists. Not for nostalgia, not for history, for survival. Because modern air power creates a paradox. The more advanced a jet becomes, the harder it is to replace. Supply chains grow more fragile. Manufacturing becomes slower. Costs spiral. America needed a system that could outlast industry, outlast politics, outlast war. AMARG became that system. And yet, there is an even deeper purpose behind this desert. Walk toward the back of the facility, past the F-1111s, past the C-130s, past the once classified spy planes whose stories will never fully be told. Here, you'll find aircraft that aren't simply preserved. They've been stripped, gutted, hollowed out not for destruction, but for protection. Some aircraft contain technology that cannot be allowed into enemy hands. Some contain materials that must be neutralized. Some contain systems that would rewrite the capabilities of rival nations if they were ever stolen or recovered. AMARG is not just a storage site. It is a sanctuary for secrets, a controlled environment where sensitive technology goes to rest, permanently. This is how it becomes clear America doesn't store 4,000 warplanes because it fears running out of jets. It stores them because it fears running out of time. If the world erupted tomorrow, if a major conflict stretched America's resources to the breaking point, the desert would awaken. One hangar at a time, one row at a time, one aircraft at a time. A reserve fleet no other nation has or could ever hope to build. China can mass-produce fighters. Russia can modernize strategic bombers. But no nation on Earth has built a place like AMARG, because no nation spent 70 years thinking about what happens after the first day of war. That's the genius hidden in the desert. It isn't the aircraft, it's the foresight. Every jet stored here is a message. America plans not just for the next war, but for the one after that. And that brings us to the bigger truth, one that most people miss completely. The future of air power isn't just about stealth, AI, drone swarms, hypersonics, or sixth-generation platforms. It's about infrastructure. A jet is only as powerful as the system that supports it. And the system stored here in the desert is unmatched. A MARG is the quiet force multiplier behind every fighter that takes off today. It is the insurance policy for tomorrow's war. It is the guarantee that when America needs aircraft fast, the desert will answer. So the next time you see satellite images of thousands of jets lined up in perfect rows, don't think of abandonment. Think of preparation. Think of strategy. Think of a country preserving an air force the size of a continent, in silence. Because the truth is simple. What looks dead in the desert might be the first thing that flies when the world catches fire. If you're enjoying this, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. It helps a lot. Welcome to Arsenal Exposed, where the truth flies long after the engines stop.